What's up everybody? I'm Music Man and welcome back to Music Man's Ride. This video is going to be part 3 in my How to Ride series. Now in this video, I'm going to show you guys some cone drills you can use in parking lots to get a little more comfortable riding your motorcycle before we take it out into the street. That extra little bit of confidence is going to go a long ways into helping you feel a little bit more comfortable your first time out on the road. Okay, so the first drill we're doing is called the weave. Everybody's seen this before, it's just your basic slalom. I just don't like calling it that because it implies you're trying to go fast, and that's not the goal here. The goal of this one, you just want to feel the motorcycle moving underneath you and feeling how it moves as you turn. We start this drill out, we're going to set up a cone at the end of a parking stall. We're going to skip 2 lines, set another cone out, skip 2 lines, set another cone out, skip 2 more, set another cone, and continue on until you run out of either cones or lines. All right, we're going to make a couple runs through this. We're going to start once on the right side. We're going to do it once from the left side. Just kind of show you guys how this is going to play out. And then I'm going to tighten it up. We're going to put a cone, skip a line, a cone, skip a line, cone, skip a line. You're going to feel a lot more movement in the motorcycle doing it this way than you would skipping 2 lines. So let's get out in the parking lot and I'll show you guys what this looks like. Alright, so here we are out in the parking lot. I've got the cone set up for the weave. I got them set up cone, 2 parking spots, another cone, 2 parking spots, another cone, all the way down to the full side. We're going to run through this a couple times. Then I'm going to tighten the cones in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple different runs on this. We're going to start from the right side once, we're going to start from the left side once. And you're going to get a couple of different angles from the cameras. I obviously have the first person view set up on my helmet here. And I also have a camera set at the opposite end of the parking lot, so you can see what I'm doing from off of the bike. So here we go. First run, we're going to start this one on the right side of the cone. And when we get to the end, I'm just going to turn around and come back to this side, do it again. So first run, we get the motorcycle up to speed in first gear, and we're just going to weave smoothly in and out of the cones. Now the purpose in doing this exercise is to help you get a little more comfortable with lane changes and avoiding obstacles that you can see in the roadway well ways out in front of you. So let's do it again from the left side. About 10 miles an hour. We're just going to weave in between the cones. Alright guys, so as we're doing this exercise, we're going to keep the bike inside the friction zone. We're staying in first gear. We're going to use that rear brake to help keep the motorcycle stable and give it just a little bit of throttle as we're going through here to keep our speed up. Now if you feel like you're not getting enough speed, let out more of your friction zone to send more power to the rear tire. You're not going to have more throttle. Maintain your throttle hand. You want to keep that smooth and steady the whole time. Alright, so let's get another run in from the right side. Nice smooth, a little bit of rear brake keeps the motorcycle stable. I'm just going to weave through them nice and smooth. All right, let's go up the difficulty a little bit. We're going to add a few more cones and tighten up the pattern a little bit. We're just going to skip a line in between each instead of skipping 2 lines. All right, guys, so we've upped the difficulty a little bit. We're still going to keep everything the same. Slow down a little bit if you need to, But we're going to try to keep everything else with this drill the same. Maintain your control in the friction zone. Keep the throttle hand steady. Apply that rear brake for added stability. And you're just going to weave through the cones, skipping every other one. Now these cones are a little bit tighter, so feel free to go slower if you need to, and you are going to have to dip the bike a little bit further as we do this. This is where counterlean that I talked about in that previous video is really going to come in handy, and you're going to have to get used to shifting your weight to the left and to the right as you turn the bike. So let's make a quick run through this. Alright, now see how to do this one? There's much more movement in the bike. But it's still not a terribly difficult exercise. And to be honest, running these little slaloms like this and weaving in and out of cones is actually pretty fun. So same thing this time, we're just going to start from the left hand side. A little bit of rear brake. Keep the bike stable. Don't be afraid to turn the bike. There we go. Another successful run. Alright guys, that's the weave. Let's get set up for the next one. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is called the swerve. And we're going to be doing exactly what it sounds like we're doing. We're going to be practicing swerving. So with this one, when I set it up, I had to modify my positioning a little bit, but the easiest way for you guys to do this is set a cone up at the start of a line, put a cone on the end of that line, go one line over, and you're going to go about a third of the way up, drop a cone, another third of the way up, and drop another cone. I'll put a diagram up of how I did it. Yours should look similar. The idea is just basically get the steering box set up the same. Let's get out in the parking lot and run this a couple times. I'm back in the parking lot. We've got the next steering box set up here. This one's going to be for us to practice our swerves. We're going to swerve right and we're going to swerve left. The idea with this one, as we enter the steering box, once our front tire brakes, these first two cones right here on my right, that side, right side, and the left side, once our tire breaks that cone barrier, we are going to quickly and under control swerve to the right around this cone here, or we're going to swerve to the left around this cone. Not too complicated. Now you do need to get your bike up to about 15 miles an hour or so to do this from a starter perspective. And once you've done it enough times, you can increase your speed to whatever's comfortable for you. Just make sure you do so at safe intervals. Don't just have one successful run with it and decide you're going to try it at 30. So let's have our first go. Now running this one. Alright, so running this steering box, we should be able to do this in first gear with the clutch all the way out, just as you would riding down the street. And the idea is you're going to go straight until your tire brakes. We're going to turn left and we're going to turn right. No surprises here. You don't want somebody calling things out for you last second. We don't want you dropping the bike. This is to practice to get better, not to see how fast you can do it without dropping your bike. So first run through, we're going to do this at 15 miles an hour. We're going to brake to the right. Get up to 15, tire brakes, get around it. Try not to lean early in anticipation. I know I did that go around. It just kind of happens. You start kind of setting up for things if you know it's coming. So let's try it again. We're going to get up to 15, clutch all the way out, hold it, brake, quick swerve around the cone. One more time to the right. See, I broke too early. All right, we're gonna go move the camera setup and get a side-on angle at this. Alright, we'll give you guys a couple looks here. One swerving to the left, one swerving to the right. And get up to speed, hold it, swerve. Got it. One more to the right. And get up to speed, hold it, swerve. I'm gonna do that one more time. I really didn't care for that one to the right. Not real comfortable with it. So run her up to speed, hold your speed, swerve. Alright guys, so keep practicing your swerves. Make sure you don't hit any of that road debris. Okay, so the next one we're going to work on is going to be practicing our U-turns. This is a basic skill that every rider needs to know how to do. You never know when you're going to need to turn your motorcycle around inside the street, and it's just a lot easier to do it if you don't have to back up. You should be able to turn any size motorcycle within a span of about 18 feet, which, consequently enough, is the exact same width of 2 parking stalls. So you should be able to turn your motorcycle a complete U-turn within 2 parking stalls, and that's what we're going to practice. Now remember, with this one, make sure, just like any other time you're turning a motorcycle, make sure you turn your head and your eyes. I emphasize both of those. You have to turn your head and your eyes, not just your eyes. Don't just look. Turn your head to where you want the motorcycle to go, and it will follow. And you're going to do that on every turn, so might as well start practicing it now. All right, so we're back in the parking lot. I've already got my cone set up for the U-turn. And what I've done is I've got a cone here at the corner where 4 parking spaces meet. About halfway down the line, another cone. The end of the line, a cone. The end of the next line over, a cone. Cone at the corner of the next line. About midway on the next one. And at the end on the other. So, there's basically another steering box. Now, because of the angle of the sun and runway room, I had to put it on this side of the parking stalls. Normally, I prefer it on this one, and you don't even need cones for this one. You can just come out and try to make your U-turn inside of the 2 parking spots. Alright, so first run through this, we're going to make a U-turn to the right. And here's the trick. We're going to go on the outside of the cones that I have set up over there. So we're not going to be on the inside just yet. We're going to go on the outside a couple times, do a couple warm-ups, then we're going to get in the middle, and we're going to turn this giant touring bike around inside 2 parking spaces. Alright, so control your friction zone. You're going to look where you want the bike to go. Use your head and eyes, turn, and complete the turn. Go flip around real quick, we'll do it again. As we're coming around this, we're going to maintain our friction zone. Activate a little bit of rear brake. Look with your head and eyes where you want the bike to go, and the bike will follow. Alright, so we've done a couple to the right. Let's go hit one from the left. Head and eyes. Don't hit the lamppost. Complete your turn. Go stand my camera back up. I'm glad GoPros are shock resistant. I'd be in trouble. Let's do another U-turn going to the left on the outside of the cones. Come in, head and eyes where you want to go. Turn the bike. It's that simple. We're going slow enough now, I didn't even use any rear brake to help control the bike. Let's try it again. We'll use a little more rear brake, more friction zone, head and eyes around. No problem. Nice and easy. Alright guys, now as you're doing this, do not forget to look with your head and eyes where you want to go. That's not just look with your eyeballs off to the side of your helmet. Turn your head and look. It might feel a little unnatural at first, but pretty soon you're going to realize that the motorcycle will follow where your head and eyes go. So there we go. We'll enter the course. Ah, shaky. It's amazing how much tighter a couple feet feel. All right. Friction zone. By a little bit of rear brake to help stabilize. And we're gonna whip her around. Almost had it that time. Went around the center cone. All right, let's do another one to the left. That's pretty close. I should be able to do it a little faster though. Try one more here. Full lock. So as you can clearly see, U-turns aren't my strong suit. But that's why we come out to the parking lot and practice. We're trying to become better riders. Let's do a go from the right. This is definitely not my strong side. I did it just fine outside the cones behind the camera, but you don't get to see that. Try another one to the right. Turning to the right, definitely not my strong suit. As you can see, the cone's giving me a problem because of target fixation. I'm looking at them, trying not to run them over, and in doing so, I run them over because I'm looking at them. So you got to get your head and eyes around, not worry about where the cones are at, and just make your turn. All right, that's close enough. Let's move on to the next exercise. And go grab some runaway cones. Okay guys, so the next exercise we're going to practice is turning right and turning left from a stop. This is an invaluable move for a motorcyclist, knowing how to maneuver your motorcycle in tight areas and how to take off with very little runway. It's going to be good for getting out of a garage, out of a parking stall, or just turning right at a red light or a stop sign. So the cone setup for this one's pretty basic. You're just going to grab you a parking stall. About halfway down, you're going to put a cone at the line at the top of the parking stall. You come out probably 4 or 5 feet, put another cone down there in the middle. You got to pull your motorcycle up to the white line, and when you're ready, you're going to make a left turn from a stop position without hitting that cone that you set there on the baseline. Pull back around, park in between those two cones on the white line again, and you're going to do the same thing this time, but to the right side. Let's get out in the parking lot and I'll show you guys what this looks like. Alright guys, next exercise is pretty easy. I just got 2 cones set up out here. I'm going to pull my bike up to the white line, and we're going to practice sharp turns to the left and to the right from a stop. All right, so this one's fairly simple. We're gonna pull up to our stopping line. We got 2 cones out there. We're gonna try to turn on the inside of those cones, so they're not all that far up. We're about a half a parking space out. So what are you gonna do to turn to the right? We're going to go ahead and turn our wheel, turn the handlebars all the way to the right. You know, lean to the left a little bit. Bike's in gear. And we're just going to turn and take off. Alright, so where this drill is useful, it's going to be for where you're stopped in traffic, at a stoplight and you got to turn to your right, or if you're stopped in the center median in a turning lane and you need to turn left, but you got to wait on traffic. This is where that's where this drill is going to come in handy. So to go left, turn them all the way to the left, lean the bike to your right just a little bit. Take take off and go. It'll come right underneath you as you drive off. Alright, so we're going to do this a couple more times. Now this is one that I practice fairly frequently, just from riding in town. If you do a lot of city riding, this drill's going to come in handy. I do it fairly often, so my skills as far as this stay pretty well brushed up. It's nothing like doing U-turns. I don't do those near as often. I think I botched that one. Maybe not. We'll go to the left one more time. So, full lock to the left, lean back to the right a little bit. Take off, lift your feet. This also comes in handy if you ride in groups a lot. Sometimes if you're in a group ride, you should be staggered. But if you're needing to take off sharp to the right, this technique's going to come in handy. One more time to the right. Alright guys, that's that drill. And that's one you don't necessarily need to be in a parking lot to practice, but do make sure you practice it. Alright, so this is going to be the last exercise to practice today, and it's going to be emergency braking. This one's very easy to set up. You're just going to pick 3 parking stalls that are all right next to each other. You're going to put a cone in the top right corner, cone in the bottom right corner, one in the top left corner, one in the bottom left corner. And that's going to give you 3 parking stalls worth of a steering box, or a braking box in this instance, to stop your motorcycle in. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the motorcycle up to speed, approach the steering box. Once the front tire crosses the white line in between those 2 cones, we're going to begin to apply a smooth, progressive brake pressure until we stop the motorcycle. The caveat is you have to stop it inside the box. The faster you stop, the better, because we are working on emergency stopping. But don't do it in such an erratic movement that you drop your motorcycle. That's not the goal here. We want to practice getting faster at stopping, not coming to an abrupt, jerky stop. One quick caveat to this: while you guys are out practicing this, make sure you're using both your front and rear brake to bring the motorcycle to a stop. That's applying both brakes until the bike stops. That means you're going to have one foot on the brakes. You better be using that left foot to catch the bike, or you're going to go down. So let's get out in the parking lot and practice our stopping. Alright guys, so check it out. This is the last drill of the day. This one's going to be emergency stopping. I cannot begin to explain to you how important this drill is. And it's something you've got to practice. This one takes practice to be able to get. So we're going to set up 4 cones. We got one over here and one over here on this same parking line. We're going to go 3 spaces up and put 2 more cones. Alright, so during this exercise, the goal is to begin the emergency stop once your front tires cross this line, and then we're going to stop prior to crossing the other ones. We're going to stop inside that box. Alright guys, so we got our bike a ways out. We're going to do a couple runs through this. As you do it, there's a couple of steps you got to do to go through this to do it safely. Okay, so as you're going, first thing you're going to do, pull your clutch. You're going to remove all power from that rear tire. Next, roll off your throttle. And that can be done at the same time that you're pulling your clutch in. You're going to reach up and start to apply pressure on your front brake while simultaneously applying pressure with your rear brake. Begin applying pressure and continually add more until you come to a complete stop. Okay, so it's not going to be reach up, grab it, jerk, or stop. You're going to lose your bike. You're going to cause that front end to tuck underneath you. You're going to cause a rear wheel skid. The back end will slide out. We don't want any of that stuff to happen. Okay, so be very careful doing this one and be very smooth. Remember, in motorcycling, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Okay, so as you're applying your brakes, you want it to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Not 0, 100. All right? Progressive. Squeeze more as you start to stop. That's going to keep your back tire from sliding and coming to a skid. It's the most likely to lock into a skid. And it's going to keep your front tire from trying to tuck itself underneath your bike. All right? We're going to get that weight distribution to the front. Most of your stopping power is going to come to the front because of the weight distribution. All the weight's going to be on that front tire. You're going to be lighter on the back end. You're not going to get as good a traction. That's why your back end tends to slide more when you come to these sharp stops. So let's go ahead and get the bike started. All right, first time doing this. Nice casual speed, about 10 miles an hour. Straight on into the camera, get up to speed. We stopped the bike. All right, you can see we stopped well short. There was never any doubt I wasn't going to stop inside the box going 10 miles an hour. But you've got to start slow to start learning how to apply these techniques, all right? So this time we're going to do it up at 15. Completely out of the friction zone, 15 miles an hour, and stop. Now don't forget, as you come to a stop, you're using your rear brake to help stop the bike. So your left foot has got to come down to catch the bike. All right, let's go a little bit faster. Now remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you feel anything starting to skid, slide, or anything like that, keep practicing at that speed. Now if you feel what feels like a vibration coming through your brakes, if your bike's equipped with ABS, that's your ABS kicking in and stopping the tires from skidding, that's fine. You're not going to hurt anything using your ABS. Matter of fact, you should be hitting your ABS doing emergency stopping because that's literally the fastest your bike can stop. All right, do it again. We'll get up to 20. Stop the bike. And as you can see, we've got plenty of stopping space still to go. All right, we're going to take a little bit of run at it. So we're going to get the bike into second gear. And I want to make sure I have plenty of room to get it there without fumbling with the extra controls before we start the drill. So we'll come back here for a little extra room. We're gonna get started. Going down the hill, shift into second. Don't go any more than 25 miles an hour doing this drill, guys. Clutch in, lock her up. Now you notice that time, just the 5 mile an hour increase, how much further we went. The faster you go, the more stopping distance your motorcycle needs. Let's do that one more time from 25. Alright, so we're going to take off. We'll get the bike rolling. Coming on downhill, we're going to shift to second gear. Line up in the box. A little tighter stop that time. Just right past the line. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for the parking lot stuff today. I'll see you guys back at the garage. Alright guys, just want to say thanks for watching the video. Make sure you take these things I was showing you today, get out in the parking lot and practice these maneuvers. This is something that I've only started doing recently. I've been riding for about 10 years now, and I can see a noticeable difference in my riding skill after practicing these maneuvers in the parking lot. So even veteran riders have something to gain by practicing these drills and to continue practicing, because this stuff's a perishable skill. If you don't practice it, it will go away. I know lots of seasoned veteran riders that cannot do a full lock U-turn on their bike. I'm one of them. I still can't really do it very well at all. Like, I'm not smooth with it. So something I definitely know I need a lot more practice on. Like I said, make sure you're getting out there and practicing this stuff. It might end up saving your life one day, especially with that emergency braking. But until next time guys, y'all keep practicing, and I'll see you on the next ride.